Welcome to School of Miracles. I'm Heather Scavetta, and today we're going to talk about the spiritual path. People refer to the spiritual path as the new road we take when we want to understand more. Maybe more about ourselves, more about true reality, and oftentimes pursuing questions like, why am I here? What is my purpose in life? Is there more than what I can see with my physical eyes? All this is part of starting out on the spiritual path. And as we have the intent to open up to things that may not be obvious to us or to understand more, the spirit world comes forth to help you understand. The spirit world works in many different ways depending on the individual. Sometimes they give you new thoughts. Sometimes they put people on your path. Sometimes you're drawn to a book. Lots of different ways that they try to reach you to help you on this new journey. As you progress on your spiritual path, you learn more. You learn more about yourself, you learn more about others, and more about spirit in general. What they can do, what they don't do, but more importantly, how they work with you, the individual. We start the spiritual path with enthusiasm, hopefully passion, to start this new way of thinking, of being, and ultimately get to some kind of destination. What we learn along the way is that we may, as humans here, want a specific outcome of this spiritual path, but where we end up is highly individual and addressed on an individual basis. This means that you can have an idea of where you want to end up on the spiritual path, but the path will lead you to where you need to be. And so as we progress with this understanding, we may hit valleys and peaks and deserts and storms, and this is all part of the path of coming to know. So be prepared that although you being on the spiritual path is a progressive one, which means you're always going to be learning. You'll never go backwards on the spiritual path. So if you have to leave it for a while because you have other priorities, that's okay. It will be there for you when you're ready. No one in the spirit world is forcing this to happen. Indeed, God does not want people returning to Him if He has to force them to do it. He wants you willingly to return to His enfold. So, yes, it is up to you, but where you'll end up on the spiritual path may not be what you think it is when you first start out. When I first started out, all I wanted to do was connect to my daughter on the other side. But as I took the path more and more, I started to realize that there is more to it. And ultimately, through walking the path, I learned that to give mediumship readings was not going to bring me ultimately the joy I was searching for and that sense of purpose and fulfillment. Each one of us will develop and open up our spiritual gifts differently. And this is how it should be. So you can be inspired by other people's stories. Hear my story, maybe be inspired also. But how you open up and how your spiritual path progresses will be yours. So inevitably, along the road, you may hit bumps and be discouraged. This too is part of the spiritual path, because what are you learning from this doubt, this discouragement? You're learning a lot about yourself and also true reality. That you cannot bend reality to be what you want it to be. And you're also learning how to trust. We're recognizing that part of ourselves that want things and feel like we have to have things. But this doesn't alter true reality. So we have to come to terms with that and realize that through it all, the ups and downs, the bumps along the road, they are going to bring you to a place that will bring you peace and joy and a sense of purpose. But you must discover these things along the way, and they will help you to get to that understanding. And you must go through times of doubt, times of despair, times of not being certain, times of being frustrated that it's not going fast enough. This is all part of them cultivating your courage, your resolve, your resilience. And do you really want it? Because in those times where we doubt, there may be a part of us that wants to give up. And this too, as I've said before, is part of the spiritual path, because you have to understand yourself in these moments so that you can move beyond it. And as you learn these methods of working through frustration or challenges, you learn so much about what is in your way, whether it's your thoughts or past conditioning or belief systems or pressure from the culture or friends and family. And you must come to some type of an agreement with yourself that you must be steadfast on the path that honors you. This builds your sense of intuition, and you learn to trust yourself. You can ask others about your spiritual journey, maybe ask for guidance, understanding, healing, whatever it is you need. But at the end of the day, you have to learn to trust what you know to be true. The spiritual path helps you to see your life from a higher perspective, to take in the whole picture. Because although it feels like you're here alone, you aren't. You affect the people around you. Your environment affects you. Everything is affected by everything else. So when you can see things from a higher perspective, it can give you a better outlook and helps you not to be discouraged. For instance, if you feel that things are taking too long, or you're being discouraged and frustrated, start to see your life as the eternal being that you are. That this physical life is one blip on your life continuum, and to allow yourself time. You are born into time for a reason, to experience time. Now, some people's time here is shorter than others, and that's the way it's supposed to be. But don't be concerned about others. Look at your own life. So if you're feeling hurried, frustrated that things aren't coming quick enough, you can remind yourself that you are an eternal being and you do have time. As you continue on the spiritual journey, you will be rewarded from Spirit for taking this journey. That means that you could start out being a little frustrated, or maybe, quote, you're not getting things, you're not getting messages from Spirit, things like that. It could be you just don't understand their way yet. But if you keep going on the path, you will be rewarded from Spirit. And what I mean by that is you keep asking for guidance or a message or something like that, they will get through to you one way or another, whether that is through someone else speaking truth to you, or a dream, or something happening in a meditation for the first time. And when you get that, be encouraged, because they are encouraging you. Don't ask for more. Instead, say thank you. Because gratitude and learning gratitude is part of the spiritual path also. Because none of this spiritual communication can happen without them. And so how they respond to you, what they give you, their timing should be met with gratitude, because they are cultivating those parts of yourself that you need to acknowledge and work on so that you can ultimately become the best version of yourself. If you feel you're stagnant in your development, or you don't quite understand what you're doing and how to get there, keep listening to these podcasts, because I'm going to be talking more about where to start, but also more advanced techniques too. So let's take this journey together, which is always the best way, because together is where the joy is, truly. Thank you for listening, and I hope you join me next time. Have a blessed day.